Lesson 95 starts on page 441, and it's about two-step problems about a fraction of a group. Now, you did some stories about a fraction of a group back in lesson 70, and we just finished doing some two-step problems. So we'll be applying what we learned in lesson 70 as well as in lesson 94 to help us solve these two-step problems about a fraction of a group. So as you do these problems, just be thinking that there will be two steps you need to do in order to solve them. So let's look at a practice problem. Let's just read through practice problem A. 4/5 of the students received B's on the quiz. If there are 25 students, how many received B's? Okay, well, let's just think about this. 4/5 of the 25 students. So we need to break 25 into fifths. So that would be 5 times 5, right? So let's just make 5 boxes. First I'll make like a big box, and then I'll break it up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller boxes. And so 4 of those 5, or 4/5, need to be shaded in. And so let's just shade in all of this right here. And so that would represent 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Each one of them has 5 in it, and so since we're doing 4 of the 5, that would be 4 times 5, or 20, right? 20 received B's. That's the same thing as 4/5 of the students. The value, or the quantity, of 4/5 of those 25 students would be 20. 1/5 received a grade other than a B, so that would be 5 students received a grade other than a B. Okay, let's do one more. This time I want you to just listen to the problem, be a good listener, and figure out how to solve the problem. 5/8 of the 64 frogs in the pond were sitting on lily pads. How many frogs were sitting on lily pads? Well, you don't just write 5/8 down for your answer. They want a quantity. Okay, so we're trying to think of 5/8 of 64. So we have to break up 64 into 8s. And so we think to ourselves, 8 goes into 64. It would go into that exactly 8 times, right? So 8 times 8 equals 64. Now, let's just go ahead and do this in our head instead of writing all the fraction bars out. 5, let's just think of 8 fraction bars, each with a value of 8 inside of it. 5 of those 8 are shaded to represent 5/8 of the frogs that are on the lily pads. So 5 times 8 then is what we need to do. And so that would be 40. That represents 5/8. 40 frogs were sitting on lily pads. Then that means 24 of them were not sitting on lily pads. 3/8 were not sitting on lily pads. So on these problems, these fraction of a group problems, if you need to draw the box and then split it up and put your equal quantities into each box to help you understand the fraction of the group, go ahead and do that. But hopefully eventually you'll be able to just do that in your head, figure out the division, and then figure out that fraction of the group without having to draw the fraction bars out. Okay, well, that's all for lesson 95.